Good morning and namaskar, all the listeners, and a warm welcome to all the principals, teachers, students, parents, and friends who have decided to join this webinar today morning. We live in truly extraordinary times. People say such times have not been experienced by human beings in their history, where life is full of anxiety, uncertainty. We have lost our peace. There is fear. There is anger. Lockdown is a very unnatural situation. And lockdown for 1 month, 2 months, and we have no certainty about the future. These are indeed reasonable stimuli or circumstances to feel upset. But they don't help. The more we live in these feelings, the worse we feel. More importantly, we are in a situation where we have to take decisions. We have to manage day-to-day affairs. Even living in a lockdown house, where we are not used to having all the members present in the house at a time. Nobody is going to work. There are difficult circumstances. We hear that violence has gone up in many homes across the world. There may be depression. There are all kinds of circumstances that are starting to emerge in our life. But saying all this is not enough. We need that control over mind to be able to function and to take decisions. Good thing is that there are some amongst us who seem to have more control. And even us, sometimes we'll advise others not to feel upset, but after some time we will ourselves get upset. This is a small matter, but it tells us something that we wouldn't be telling others, and nobody will be coming to us unless we displayed certain amount of stability. The insight is that we all have the basic ability to remain stable, but we haven't practiced it enough. We don't know it enough to be able to live with it all the time. I can talk intellectually about it. We can all reassure ourselves. We can remind each other that, we should not behave in this manner. But the reality is that we don't have control over our mind. We need something clinical. Just as a person who has got an infection needs medicine, someone who is not able to sleep for days together, he wants a sleeping pill. We need a clinical solution so that we can be in control of our minds. One of the greatest scientists of the world, the scientist of the mind and matter, produced a great technique for us. This son of India, who we call Gautam Buddha, he was a scientist. Interestingly, one of the popular names for Buddha is Tathagat, only man who is known as Tathagat. Tathagat means someone who arrived at his destination on the basis of facts, on the basis of truth, on the basis of universal logic, which will apply to all people, to all places, at all times. He saw that human beings suffer. And they suffer because they have not understood their circumstances, their surroundings, and therefore live by instinct or live by experience of that instinct, but which is only partial. So he taught 3 steps. Firstly, he said that you have to live by rules which will help you live in harmony with your compatriots, with your community. So when you speak the truth, when you're non-violent, when you are not involving in sexual misconduct, when you are not stealing, etc., these are simple rules, not of any religious morality or text. These are simple rules so that you can live in harmony with people around you. Even if we know them, we at times violate them because our mind is not in our control. As we know often that I didn't want to say something untrue, but well, I ended up saying something like this. I didn't want to get angry, but I ended up getting angry, and so on. So second very important thing he said is that you have to develop control over your mind, and he taught us a technique. This is an old ancient technique of India, which he rediscovered. And then we lost it again. And 50 years back or so, S.N. Goenka, a businessman from Burma, who benefited immensely from the teaching of Vipassana, part of which is the technique that we will learn today. He taught a third step, or he talked about it rather. And he said the third step is that you not only have to have control over your mind, but you have to purify your mind. If your mind is not pure, some impurity can become so strong and come and dominate your mind that you can get into difficulty. India's lore is full of stories that where people got boons because they practiced good things. They developed bhakti. They were able to please some God and get some powers. But if the minds were not pure, they used that power in a negative way. They abused it, they got into difficulty themselves, and they caused harm to others. So Buddha said, it is very important not only to develop control over your mind, but also to purify your mind. Vipassana meditators recognize all these three rules and practice Vipassana throughout life so that they can develop understanding and expertise and imbibe in their life all the three parts. But Buddha's style of teaching was very different. He did not teach. He did not preach. As a matter of fact, he said, don't believe. I don't want you to believe today morning. As Buddha said, Buddha went on to say, don't believe your guru, don't believe your parents, don't believe your religious textbook, don't believe me, don't believe anybody who's talking impressively. Then what do you believe? He said, believe your own experience. Believe your own experience, reflect over it quietly, fully, and then check if other wise people are also following it. Can it cause harm to anybody? Etc., etc. So those are the yardsticks by which he said, you should judge whatever anybody tells you to do. I want you to do the same thing. I don't want you to believe me. We will take a short experience journey. I will say a few words in Hindi. वैज्ञानिक बुद्ध, महावैज्ञानिक बुद्ध ने ये बताया कि जीवन में सुखी रहने के लिए हमें तीन बातें चाहिए. समाज के साथ, औरों के साथ रहने के लिए ये आवश्यक है कि हम झूठ ना बोलें, हिंसा ना करें, व्यभिचार ना करें, नशा पता ना करें, इत्यादि. ये किसी पर उपकार नहीं है. यह किसी धार्मिक पुस्तक में लिखी हुई बातें नहीं है. यह समाज में रहने के लिए आवश्यक नियम है. लेकिन हम इन नियमों का उल्लंघन कर देते हैं. ना चाहते हुए हम कहते हैं कि हम झूठ बोल देते हैं, हमारी आदत ही पड़ गई, इत्यादि. इसलिए उन्होंने कहा कि ये सब ना करने के लिए ये आवश्यक है कि अपने मन को वश में करना सीखें. जब मन ही वश में नहीं होगा तो ये बुद्धि से सीखी हुई बातें कुछ काम नहीं आएगी. बुद्धिमान तो बहुत हैं, बुद्धि की बातें भी बहुत होती है. और तीसरी बात उन्होंने कही वह यह कि अगर मन वश में भी हो गया, मन को वश में करने के कई तरीके हो सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर मन में बुराइयां हैं, मन पवित्र नहीं है, तो उसमें से कोई न कोई बुराई तुम्हारे सिर पर चढ़कर तुम्हारा नुकसान कर देगी, औरों का नुकसान कर देगी. भारत की पौराणिक कथाओं में ऐसे कई पात्र हैं जिन्होंने अपने मन को वश में करके कोई सिद्धियां तो पा ली, लेकिन मन में रहे हुए अहंकार या और दुर्गुण आखिर में उनका सत्यानाश कर देते हैं, सर्वनाश कर देते हैं. तो बुद्ध ने ये बातें भी पढ़ाई नहीं, उनका उपदेश नहीं दिया. उन्होंने कहा विश्वास मत करो, मेरी बात मत मानो, अपने गुरु की बात मत मानो, किसी धार्मिक पुस्तक की बात मानो, क्योंकि मानकर बुद्धि के लेवल पर तो मान जाओगे लेकिन उसका लाभ नहीं होगा। उनका अनुभव करो। केवल वह बात जो तुम्हारे अनुभव पर अच्छी उतरे, तुम उसके ऊपर चिंतन करो और तुम्हें लगे कि हर तरह से अच्छी है, बुद्धिमान लोग इसका पालन कर रहे हैं, तो ही उनका पालन करो। आज जो हम विद्या सीख रहे हैं, आज के इस कठिन समय के अंदर हमारे मन को वश में करना अत्यंत आवश्यक है, बहुत उपयोगी है कि हम भय, क्रोध, चिंता, इसमें से कुछ कुछ हद तक तो मुक्ति पा सकें। इस विद्या को सीखने के लिए आप शांत से बैठ जाइए, ऐसे आसन में बैठ जाइए जिसमें आप कुछ देर आराम से बैठ सकते हैं, चाहे कुर्सी पर हो, सोफा पर हो, पलंग पर हो, जमीन पर हो, और ये नक्की कर लें कि आपके आसपास कुछ समय के लिए शांति रहेगी। To go on this experience journey, please sit quietly in any posture that you can hold for a period of time for the next few minutes. You can sit on a sofa, chair, bed, or on the floor. Ensure that your surroundings are quiet for some time. Sit straight with your neck, head, and back straight. Close your eyes. सीधे बैठ जाएं, पीठ, कमर, गर्दन, सर सीधे। उन्हें कड़क नहीं करना है, स्ट्रेस में नहीं बैठना है, टेंशन नहीं करना है, बस केवल सीधे बैठना है। आगे एक टेप बजाई जाएगी जिसमें आचार्य गोयंका के स्वर में आगे के इंस्ट्रक्शन आप सुनेंगे। प्लीज फॉलो द इंस्ट्रक्शंस ऑन द टेप in the voice of Acharya Satyanarayan Goenka.
आओ 10 मिनट आनापान की साधना का अभ्यास करें। आनापान की साधना का अभ्यास करें। Now let us practice Anapana for about 10 minutes. Practice Anapana. पालथे मार कर बैठ जाएं, आराम से, सुखपूर्वक। जिस आसन में आराम से बैठ सकते हैं उसी आसन में बैठें। Sit comfortably, in any posture that suits you. कमर, पीठ, गर्दन सीधी रखें। Keep your back and your neck straight. आंखें बंद रखें। ध्यान के समय हमेशा आंखें बंद रहनी चाहिए। आंखें खुलेगी तो मन भटक जाएगा, तो आंखें बंद ही रहे। जो लोग ऐनक लगाते हैं वो ऐनक उतार कर ध्यान करेंगे। Keep your eyes gently closed. Those who wear spectacles should take off their spectacles during meditation period. मुंह भी बंद रखें। सांस मुंह से नहीं लेना है, नासिका से लेना है। Keep your mouth gently closed. तो सारा ध्यान नासिका के द्वारों पर। And focus your entire attention on the area at the entrance of the nostrils, the area at the entrance of the nostrils. सारा ध्यान नासिका के द्वारों पर केंद्रित करके जानते रहें, सांस भीतर आ रहा है तो आ रहा है, बाहर जा रहा है तो जा रहा है, यही जानना है. And remain aware. Remain aware of every breath coming in, every breath going out. Natural breath, normal breath, as it is, as it is. सांस बाईं नासिका में से गुजर रहा है या दाहिनी नासिका में से गुजर रहा है, या दोनों नासिकाओं में से गुजर रहा है, बड़े ध्यान से जाने. If it is long, it is long. If it is short, it is short. Passing through left nostril. Passing through right nostril. Or through both the nostrils. Just remain aware, do nothing. Just remain aware. सांस लंबा है तो लंबा है, छोटा है तो छोटा है, उसे भी बदलने की कोशिश नहीं करें. केवल जानना है, केवल जानना है. Constantly aware of the breath, the incoming breath, the outgoing breath, incoming breath, outgoing breath. मन को नाक के दरवाजों पर लगाए रखें. दृढ़ता पूर्वक लगाए रखें. Keep your attention steadfastly fixed on this area, the entrance of the nostrils. एक पहरेदार की तरह, एक द्वारपाल की तरह खूब सजग, खूब सचेत, like a gatekeeper, like a watchman, alert, attentive, vigilant, remain alert, attentive, vigilant. एक भी सांस बिना जानकारी के भीतर आने न पाए। एक भी सांस बिना जानकारी के बाहर जाने न पाए। Aware of every breath entering the nostrils. Aware of every breath moving out of the nostrils. एक एक सांस पर पहरा लगा रहे। एक एक सांस की पहरेदारी होती रहे। खूब सजग, खूब सचेत, खूब सावधान, सावधान, सावधान। अपने ही सांस के प्रति सावधान, सांस के आवागमन के प्रति सावधान। Alert, attentive, vigilant. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, natural breath, pure breath, nothing but breath. Savatu Sabbamangalam Bhavatu Sabbamangalam Bhavatu Sabbamangalam. बहुत अच्छे विश्राम करो. Good, be happy.
Take a few moments and open your eyes. No rush. And you can use the chat box, raise your hand. No rush. Happy to receive your comments and questions now. How do you feel? Anybody would like to share that? Mm-hmm.
So somebody has asked, how do we overcome negativity and negative environment within our immediate circle? Some of them have said they feel very calm. Some of them have said it's very relaxing. So it's very peaceful and energizing.
So I will deal with how to deal with negativity. Is she speaking up? Are you opening the audio for her?
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So my query is like in between I fell asleep. So is it normal or means something is wrong with that?
Nothing wrong. How did you feel generally?
Peaceful and calm.
Okay, all right. Well, I will deal with that. You felt asleep. Very normal. To reassure you, it's very normal. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, one more person we can take, Chetan?
So we've got one from Suman Sagar. Once I started focusing on the nostrils, it gave a short burst of sense of calm.
Hello?
Yeah, Suman.
Yes, please. We can hear you.
Yeah, hello, sir. Actually, when I started focusing on the nostrils and complete attention was given to the breathing, for like, when I started doing it for like after 15 to 20 seconds or so, a sudden sense of, calm and peaceful, happy feeling I started experiencing. But that was short-lived. It went on for like another 10 seconds, 20 seconds or so. And then out of nowhere, some random thought would come in. So then I would, try and quickly get my attention back to the nostrils again. So that was the constant struggle because the first time.
Okay.
So that was
correct. Very normal. Very normal. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
And we have one more, Rupal Vijay Golecha. Says that while meditating, many times my mind wanders what to do.
Okay. So we will deal with all these things. So let us deal with this, very common experience of peace and calm. That, Goenkaji was at it, asking you to be alert, to be vigilant again and again. And you were sitting straight. You were not sitting in a relaxed, lazing in a sofa. Yet you feel so much peace and calm. Almost everyone felt it. Maybe some people fell asleep or some people did not feel it, but majority people feel it. There must be a reason for it. And that reason, if people want to use the chat box, what that reason is. So it might come to some people that it was because of concentration. You were concentrating on one thing and therefore you felt peace. It is partly true. But we concentrate on a movie, we concentrate on music, we enjoy it, that concentration. We feel, we were cut off from the world for that period of time. But you don't feel peace and calm that you're feeling in this experience. There is some difference. And that difference is that you were concentrating on the truth. Breath is the truth. It is nature's truth. It is your own truth. As it is occurring every second, constantly, this is your own truth. You anchored within yourself. And that is why you feel peace. The other reason is that Goenkaji was telling you not to judge the breath. If it is short, it is short. It is long, it is long. It is through this nostril or that nostril. It doesn't matter. Normally, in our life, we are so used to judging every experience as good and bad. And when it is good, we want more of it. As a friend said that he experienced peace, then he wanted more of it. Because there was constant instruction, he was able to go back to observation of the breath. But normally, we find something good, we want more of it. Something bad, we want to chase it away, and we lose our peace. But here, by just constantly focusing on the breath, we start feeling so peaceful. And this breath, so we could give some tool, right? Some image, some mantra. But then that is not the truth, it is imagination. Your mind can become quiet, but it doesn't experience the peace and the calm that you all are experiencing. I don't know where you all are sitting, what parts of country you are from. It doesn't matter. This is nature's own way that you connect with the nature as it is occurring every moment. You feel this peace, you feel this calm. What a wonderful thing. Your own breath available to you 24/7. It's not a Hindu breath, it's not a Jain breath, it is not a Buddhist breath, it's not Indian, it's not Western. It is everybody's own truth as it arises moment to moment, and that is why you feel calm. This is the great technique of Anapan. Anapan means, it was pran. In Pali language, pran became san and apan. So you take in and you take out. Prana and aprana together became Anapan, or they anglicized the pronunciation of Anapana. Next time when you sit for meditation, maybe it is better to splash some water on your eyes so that you have a greater amount of freshness. And then slowly this will change, because that maybe there's sleep deficiency, your mind has some sleepy elements. After a few practice sessions, this will go away. Thoughts. Thoughts are your natural habit. And you did nothing to let those thoughts arise. They arise by themselves because this is the nature of the mind. We will talk a little more about it. So our job is not to fight the thoughts. Your mind wanders away, you bring it gently, quietly, happily back to your breathing. Again and again, your mind will wander away because some interesting thought has come up, some bothering thought has come up, and it is our reaction habit. Oh, some pleasant memory comes, we go for a walk with the pleasant memory. Some unpleasant thought comes and we start fighting with it, oh, this was bad, this was not right, or in future I will do this or that. So your mind constantly goes either into past or the future. This calm that you experienced because you were completely in the present moment. Every breath as it happens is the present moment. We all talk intellectually, we send each other very nice greeting card. This present is the only present that we have. But how to live in this present moment? Learning to observe your breath and becoming a master of it helps you live in this moment and peacefully. Because after all, what you have to do is you don't have to take a deep breath consciously. You have to observe what is happening naturally. And that is through the experience of your deeper mind. This deeper mind is the magic. This is the greatest ability that human beings have. But we have not explored it. Buddha called it bodhi. There's this ability to know what is happening inside you, inside your body and mind, is what you are developing. So you just remain relaxed. This ability will grow day by day as you practice, and that you will become aware. So let me ask you one question. You were getting all these thoughts, and to the extent that you were able to go back to breathing, what happened to those thoughts? Can you open some video audios, Chetan, if people answer?
Yes, sure. We have Hemant Dugar. Hemant, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What happened to those thoughts?
There were various thoughts which kept coming to my mind. And slowly, when I started focusing on my breath, many of those thoughts went away. But I was not able to still focus everything. The thoughts kept coming back and forth. My feeling was.
Okay. So, as Hemanji was saying, that, the thoughts. So my question was, what happens to those thoughts? Those thoughts just go away. When we don't focus on those thoughts will keep coming, but they come only to go. If we don't go for a walk, we don't play tango with them, nothing happens. Those thoughts go away. It has become our habit to let this thought of anxiety come, and then, we start doing party with it. Or this anger come and we start, playing the game of anger with it. Nothing happens. Just as you observe, by just focusing your mind on your breathing, your thoughts were coming, but they were going away. They had no power. They have power only when you give them power. If you don't give them attention, you pay attention to them, but you don't give power. You say, I know I'm feeling angry, but I'm going to observe my breath. I'm feeling anxious, but I'm going to observe my breath, because breath is my nature. It connects me to my natural state, and that's those. The second question that I have is, was your breathing uniform all the time, or it was changing?
It was changing for me.
It was changing, right? It was changing quite frequently. Do you have any idea why it was changing so frequently? You're sitting steadily in one place. Why was it changing?
Not sure. I was just trying to focus on myself.
Anyone has any idea why your breath was changing so much?
Cause of thought process which was going on at that moment.
Very correct. So how you could now observe that your thoughts and breath have a direct relationship. You learn to observe your breath. Actually, you are learning to observe the vagaries, the movement of your thoughts. So when you find that you are angry or you are anxious, you will find your breath has changed. Just focus on your breath. Just as those thoughts go away, these feelings will also go away. It's such a simple, scientific, natural technique. We just saw right from this little discussion that the thoughts go away by themselves, that the breath is linked to the thoughts. So how Buddha taught a technique whereby just observing the breath, you start going to the thoughts, from the thoughts to the root of the thoughts, and to the root of your whole entity. That's the whole Vipassana meditation. That when you go for a Vipassana course, we teach this technique of concentrating on your breath or anapan for the 1/3 of the period. Little over 3 days, you just learn to concentrate on your breath. Your mind becomes so sharp, and you're able to, remain still with all kinds of thoughts coming and going, and that you develop ability to sense what's happening in your body. Then you find, thoughts are not only expressing in my breath, but they're expressing as sensations on my body. And then you're able to go much deeper into the sensations of the body, which is nothing but your mind manifesting all the time. That's how, when we feel fear, we feel cold, we tremble, because it manifests on your mind. When you feel very angry, you have hot breath, blood rushing to your face. There are so many angry sensations. And so also with lust, with fear, with greed, you find sensations appearing on your body. As you develop mastery in Vipassana, you see all these sensations come before you, and you're able to see them. You don't play tango, you don't party with them. They become powerless, they fall away. And so that's how your mind starts becoming purer and purer. This question of negative thoughts, etc. So negativity is also a part of our memory. All these thoughts are coming from our memory and our habit of going into the future all the time. So as we practice this, negative thoughts or excitement, etc., slowly starts going away. Now, one thing, in this world of instant gratification, please recognize you can't become a master of your mind. The most difficult thing for human beings, it takes time. You practice this, someone asked this question, you practice Anapana for 10 minutes or maybe 15 minutes once you start feeling settled in it, morning and evening. Anytime in morning, evening is good, whenever you feel comfortable. If you have any other religious or meditation practice, please don't mix them. Please also don't add any mantra or any image or any other technique. It is not a pranayam. You don't have to control your breath. You have to observe nature as it manifests, as it appears through the breath. So please don't mix anything. Keep at least a gap of 15-20 minutes, ideally half an hour between two practices. These are anxious times, and during the day also, once you become good at it, you can practice even 3 times or maybe even 4 times if it helps you. You can also learn to observe your breath whenever you are alone, you're traveling, or you have an important meeting, you have important something to say. Just take 2 or 3 breaths, observe them. You'll find your mind becomes still, powerful, and sharp. There was one more question about why are we not doing chakra. Chakra, dhyan, pranayam, etc. are different techniques, completely different techniques. Buddha taught a very different path, a very simple path of observing the breath as it happens naturally, using your latent, your greatest power inside you of knowing yourself. In English or in science, you have a word called proprioception. Sportsmen and gymnasts know that word well. We don't. But we all experience this in life. I knew I was doing something wrong. My mind was telling me, but I didn't pay attention. So we have this observing capability, which is very latent, which is very weak, in a very dormant manner. Through this technique, you will bring that to power. Agya Chakra and other Chakra Sansthan, etc. Please don't mix the two. You like to do that meditation, please do that separately. Otherwise, this can harm you quite a lot. And if I get into it, don't just mix the two.
So we have Kavita Singh who's asking, how do we inculcate this practice among young children? We are presently playing the same audio by Sir Goenka before we begin our online session, but children don't seem to practice it seriously.
Children have to be explained the benefit of it, and they have to experience it, most importantly. I think, we have a separate children's course also. And Madam Singh, it may be useful. I can help you connect with someone who can come and conduct a children's course for you at your school. And since, you seem to be very motivated and you're already trying this, so try that. Someone who is very adept at it may be able to, get better results. So shall we practice this one more time, and then if people want, we can have a few more questions. So Chetan, can you play the 10-minute one? Do you have it handy?
आओ 10 मिनट आनापान की साधना का अभ्यास करें। आनापान की साधना का अभ्यास करें। Now let us practice Anapana for about 10 minutes. Practice Anapana. पालथे मार कर बैठ जाएं, आराम से सुखपूर्वक। जिस आसन में आराम से बैठ सकते हैं उसी आसन में बैठें। Sit comfortably, in any posture that suits you. कमर, पीठ, गर्दन सीधी रखें। Keep your back and your neck straight. आंखें बंद रखें। ध्यान के समय हमेशा आंखें बंद रहनी चाहिए। आंखें खुलेगी तो मन भटक जाएगा, तो आंखें बंद ही रहे। जो लोग ऐनक लगाते हैं वो ऐनक उतार कर ध्यान करेंगे। Keep your eyes gently closed. Those who wear spectacles should take off their spectacles during meditation period. मुंह भी बंद रखें। सांस मुंह से नहीं लेना है, नासिका से लेना है। Keep your mouth gently closed. तो सारा ध्यान नासिका के द्वारों पर। And focus your entire attention on the area at the entrance of the nostrils. The area at the entrance of the nostrils. सारा ध्यान नासिका के द्वारों पर केंद्रित करके जानते रहें, सांस भीतर आ रहा है तो आ रहा है, बाहर जा रहा है तो जा रहा है, यही जानना है। And remain aware. Remain aware of every breath coming in, every breath going out. Natural breath, normal breath, as it is, as it is. सांस बाईं नासिका में से गुजर रहा है या दाहिनी नासिका में से गुजर रहा है, या दोनों नासिकाओं में से गुजर रहा है, बड़े ध्यान से जाने। If it is long, it is long. If it is short, it is short. Passing through left nostril. Passing through right nostril. Or through both the nostrils. Just remain aware, do nothing. Just remain aware. सांस लंबा है तो लंबा है, छोटा है तो छोटा है, उसे भी बदलने की कोशिश नहीं करें। केवल जानना है। Constantly aware of the breath, the incoming breath, the outgoing breath, incoming breath, outgoing breath. मन को नाक के दरवाजों पर लगाए रखें। दृढ़ता पूर्वक लगाए रखें। Keep your attention steadfastly fixed on this area, the entrance of the nostrils. एक पहरेदार की तरह, एक द्वारपाल की तरह खूब सजग, खूब सचेत, like a gatekeeper, like a watchman, alert, attentive, vigilant. Remain alert, attentive, vigilant. एक भी सांस बिना जानकारी के भीतर आने न पाए। एक भी सांस बिना जानकारी के बाहर जाने न पाए। Aware of every breath entering the nostrils. Aware of every breath moving out of the nostrils. एक एक सांस पर पहरा लगा रहे। एक एक सांस की पहरेदारी होती रहे। खूब सजग, खूब सचेत, खूब सावधान, सावधान, सावधान। अपने ही सांस के प्रति सावधान, सांस के आवागमन के प्रति सावधान। alert, attentive, vigilant. Incoming breath, outgoing breath, natural breath, pure breath, nothing but breath. Savatu sabbamangalam bhavatu sabbamangalam bhavatu sabbamangalam. बहुत अच्छे विश्राम करो, विश्राम करो. Good, good. Be happy, be happy, be happy.
So very quickly before, if people want to stay back and have any questions, some important things. This is the power of equanimity. When you don't react, you accept reality. That is called equanimity. It is an enormous power. And while I did mention Buddha taught this technique, etc., Buddha said that, oh, this technique has been the ancient technique of this country for a long time. And what is working is not Buddha, not Vallabh Bansali, not Vipassana Institute. It is the nature's law that is working. That you have, just as there are two wires that come together and produce a result, your inherent ability, when it is connected to a natural process, instead of the imaginary process that your mind creates, something happens. So your anxiety, your fear, your excitement, eagerness, etc., are created by our rational mind or by a part of our mind. Whereas we also have the ability in ourselves to connect to what nature's wish is. And nature has got this breathing as one of the manifestations. It has many manifestations. Symbol of nature available. So when you connect that ability with this process, peace, a lot of other benefits will come. Your sleep becomes better, memory becomes better, concentration becomes better, your agitation, anxiety all start to go away. The second thing I wanted to say was, when you practice this during day, or when you are in a moment of conflict, anxiety, stress, etc., your breath will not be normal. So don't look for calm breath that point of time. Accept the breath as it is. By accepting the breath, it is as it is during this practice, that calm followed. So please remember at those moments, also as the Vipassana practitioner was saying, that, in day-to-day life, because at the 10-day course, you followed a life of purity, there was so much facility that your sensations were of a particular kind. Sensations are not important. Equanimity is important. So even when you practice at home, your mind is wandering, but you're equanimous. practice more anapan, at least 20 minutes anapan you do. Sometimes you can do longer also. And then accept the kind of sensations that come up. And then, you'll feel it is the equanimity is the test of progress in Vipassana, not the nature of sensations. And the last thing is that these practice tapes that, vridhamma.org is the website. And on that, you can get Anapan with S.N. Goenka videos for practicing also. And or you'll get audio tracks. Plus, VRI Dhamma currently is broadcasting those who want to join those public sessions or who want to do private sessions based on that YouTube videos. Both options are available. And then I had explained about Vipassana part that, it is about equanimous. You heard that? Hello?
Yes. It was.
Yes, we heard it.
Also, yeah, okay, fine. Not hear the concern. Please repeat.
Yes. His concern is, will meditation make him too relaxed or spaced out to succeed at work or school?
Good question. Meditation empowers you. Vipassana, we say, gives you peace, purity, and power. Did you find Acharya Goenka relaxed? Do you find me relaxed? No Vipassana meditator. He is full of energy. They find a purpose in life and they go endlessly. They become calm. They are able to do whatever they want in a more relaxed manner. You don't become lazy, lethargic, complacent. Not at all. You become the other way around. As you practice, as your bodhi, this is what I talked about, the ability in you. First is awareness. Second capability that comes is analytical ability. You are able to see things very clearly. The third capability that develops is virya, or endless amount of energy. So more energy will come, not laziness. So those who have these difficulties of heaviness, so if you have heaviness in the head, so you can pause for a few seconds and then recommence. So normally whatever is lying dormant starts surfacing. So thoughts also start coming, but if you don't pay attention, it goes away. If you find that, you are getting this heaviness repeatedly, take a break. Try after 1 day, try after 2 days, try for a shorter period of time. Slowly this will change. Concentration going away is normal because our minds are very distracted. It's a very old habit. Even if you don't believe in past birth, throughout life, we have got used to pampering ourselves that whatever thought comes, we go for a walk with that thought. We start talking to, engaging with the thought. And therefore, it takes time to practice this. So as you become more determined and resolute, this practice will grow. It is grown around the world. The question of incoming breath, outgoing breath, both are important. Any breath, idea, as we said, it is the nature expressing itself. We are just observing, connecting this internal ability with what the nature is doing. That's what our process is, all of it. Every incoming breath is important, outgoing breath is important. Whatever be form, shape, size, it is important. Not one is less important or more important.
Then we have one question from Facebook Live. Maushmi Chatterjee is asking, how do we deal with the demon inside who is making me feel demotivated? And then there is another question from Nutan Iyer, and she says it is difficult to be away from negative thoughts and negative people who have anxiety all the time. What should we do in such cases?
Good questions. So that's why, we say life has 3 parts. Life of morality, as we say, truth, celibacy, non-stealing, etc. So they produce tremendous amounts of negativity in us. They are the demons really. And so we practicing to whatever extent. As you develop this control over your mind, you find that, before getting angry and in our anger, saying something which is untruthful, which is harmful, which is like violent, that starts going down. Because any time we practice any of those things, they produce tremendous amount of negative energy in us, which keeps rolling and coming up. So these demons is our goal to fight. It takes time. But if we follow all the 3 paths, so ideally those who practice Anapan and they become good at it, They will be naturally encouraged to take a 10-day Vipassana course. So they can go and take a 10-day Vipassana course and learn this freedom, this fight against the demon much, much better. But even Anapan, on a continuous basis, if you practice, you will find slowly that you will get a mastery over it. Second is negative people around us. That's why we need Anapan and Vipassana. We cannot choose the world that we will get, no? The world will be what it will be. We are in a circumstance. By making ourselves stronger, by developing these capabilities and arming ourselves with these tools, slowly we will find that people are looking at ourselves differently. You don't have to tell them anything. You will not focus on their negativity, but you will focus on your own breath and your own peace. So just as a baby is able to sleep in all the noise around us, and an anxious person cannot sleep in the most air-conditioned, quiet room also. So you become a baby, relaxed, confidence that nothing will happen, only the destined will happen, and I'm doing good things, and my heart is clean, only good things will happen. Slowly, Anapan will lead you to this path, that equanimity we talked about. You become equanimous, that okay, all my anxiety is all imagination, let me not go into imagination. I will deal with every moment as it comes. So you start defocusing from outside and start focusing on inside. It's a process, it takes time, but this combination of three things, that live a life of morality in every which way. And morality also is two kinds. One is things that you don't do and things that you do. So for example, you don't want to be violent to others. Definitely you don't want to be. But can you be friendly to others? Can you bring peace and help to others? Etc. In all those 5 areas, you can do the reverse also. When you start practicing positive things, even greater results come. The positivity starts multiplying many, many times.
We have Kavita Singh with us. Kavita ji, can you hear us? Can you ask the question on audio?
Sir, I had already asked the question. In fact, like you had put it for me, I was asking about how to inculcate the habit of practicing Vipassana among the young children. So, sir suggested that we can connect with those people. Just to keep you informed, sir, we have already connected with Miss Sangeeta Sharaf. So she had done a couple of sessions also with us in our school, but surprisingly, the young children, 9 and 10 classes, they don't seem to do it seriously. So after listening to you, sir, maybe I found out that the answer lies within us. It needs time, it needs practice, and maybe after practicing it, they will themselves realize the benefits, and soon they will see the changes in their day-to-day life. So maybe it will all come with the practice.
Yeah. And also, Madam Singh, we need to practice a lot of metta. The world is full of suffering and such bad habits. They don't change easily. We have to have a lot of kindness and a lot of compassion for them. Even when we impart the course, we should sit there and just impart a lot of compassion and metta. We have to, smile at the ignorance of the world, not get too upset. We are trying our best.
Yes. We have Munira Zaveri ji. Munira Zaveri ji, can you hear us? Can you ask your question?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
I am a teacher by profession. So I just wanted to know, like, young children, especially primary classes, they are very distracted. So is there a different technique for them which we can integrate in our classrooms for meditation?
We will take your context and give you guidance. So even young children, 5-year-old and above, can learn to practice Anapan. You teach them without theory, with some games and some cartoons. And so we have courses for people above 5 years. Government of Maharashtra is implemented, teaching Anapan across all its schools, and from low grades to high grades. So yes, Madam Javeri, we can help you with that also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Children in my family that age do practice Anapan.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Muthali. We have Mr. Chandrasekhar with us. Chandrasekhar ji, can you hear us? Can you ask your question?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, she. Yes, please.
Yeah. I'm Ashwini here. I'm from Mukul Madhav Vidyalaya. I just wanted to know that we remain stable, I think so, in all conditions. Is it this means the profit of this Anapana? That whatever condition comes, we become tough and we can be stable and we can just go through all that very calmly.
Absolutely.
It's okay for that. Very nice,
Yes,
I feel.
Yeah. You need practice, but constantly you practice in this. You understand that what is happening. You understand, as I said, that there is this natural ability. There is peace within me, but my habits have robbed me of my peace. And with this tool of connecting immediately to your breath, that ability starts coming up. So as you practice more and more, you will remain calm and stable in more and more circumstances. One day you will become perfect.
Yes. We have Mr. Rohit Malik with us. Rohit Malik ji, can you unmute yourself? Can you ask your question? We also have Mr. Manish Nahar ji. Manish ji, can you hear us? Can you ask your question?
Hello. Yes. Namaste.
Hello.
Namaste.
So, Anapana is a technique of meditation as other meditation, or it have some different benefit from other meditation techniques. तो सर इससे रिलेटेड मेरा सेकंड क्वेश्चन है कि नींद और ध्यान में कौन सा डिफरेंसेस, क्या डिफरेंसेस है?
बहुत डिफरेंस है. एनीवे, सो आनापान एक्सल में जिसको कई मेडिटेशन केवल कंसंट्रेशन के मेडिटेशन है, ये कंसंट्रेशन का उसका इसमें दो बातें होती है. एक है समता, इक्वानिमिटी. So equanimity based on truth. So it is a truth-based, तथागत जैसे थे बुद्ध का तरीका कि truth based होना चाहिए. तो ये truth को imagination से भी meditation होता है, इत्यादि मंत्र से भी होता है, तो वो सब meditation अलग है. ये truth based meditation है, तो वैसे बहुत बड़ा फर्क है इसके अंदर. और ये बात तो बिल्कुल ठीक है कि थोड़ा सा हम एनर्जी तेज कर लेते हैं तो माइंड थोड़ा कॉन्सेंट्रेट हो जाता है. वो जो थॉट्स ऊपर आ रहे होते हैं, तेज breath, when you take a few hard breaths, that those thoughts, etc., wither away like clouds. With a blow, you just, send the clouds scatter. You just scatter them. So that's the benefit of few hard breaths. But our job is not to focus on the nature of the, create a certain breathing. So we don't do that too much. Good.
Dr. Bhansali ji, you have answered partly this question I am asking, but there is a general question from the many participants. Is the getting stressed out or headache or sleepy during the meditation is a natural outcome? Is this everything right with me? There is a general...
It's absolute. Yeah, complete.
Yeah, this is the general concern of at least 7-8 people.
Okay. Yeah. Now, it is very common. It is very common to feel sleepy or, start feeling some sensations. A lot of people, the moment you see, it's a surgery. This is a natural process of connecting one ability with the truth. And nature is doing this breathing, and then it has given you ability. So when you start doing this, things start happening. So whatever, etc., was on the top of the surface, it starts coming up. Just as, you keep water, dirty water, you keep it still for some time, the dust starts settling. In this case, it starts, all your dirt of the mind starts coming up. So these things happen, but we can't, in the beginning, we can't handle them. We can't understand them, so we get upset. But we just continue our practice. Normally, unless you have some other ailment, you already have a pre-existing psychological or physiological issue, then of course you must consult a doctor and then only do it. But in a normal life, there are no issues. You practice this, slowly they'll go away. In case you have extreme difficulty, you may consult a Vipassana teacher or go to best is to take a Vipassana course where you can get full guidance.
Yes, we have Mr. Parth Chandra Malhotra. Parth ji, can you hear us? Can you ask your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Please ask your question.
Vallabh bhai, pranam.
Pranam sir.
Vallabhai, like my experience was like, okay, I wear power glasses for like plus 3.54, and generally like I am dealing a lot with my eyes, like they're a big problem for me. After this exercise in just 10 minutes, I feel some more energy, some more focus in my eyes as well as ears. Is it related, or I'm just getting swayed away?
It may happen. These things happen because it is a natural process. So don't count too much on it, and don't get, again, we'll get excited and we will want this, we'll want this. Then again, we become disturbed. Both eagerness and expectation, anxiety and agitation, both create disturbance. So अगर अपने आप होता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, but ऐसा होता है. लेकिन मैं ये आपको ये चमत्कार की और ऐसी बातें नहीं कहूंगा, क्योंकि कुदरत में कोई चमत्कार नहीं होता. कुदरत में सब साइंस की तरह ही काम चलता है. तो जब जितना होना है हो जाएगा. So don't start expecting, don't start getting disappointed. Our job is to get mental peace. A lot of other physical benefits accrue along with Vipassana. As the famous story is, that whole Vipassana tradition in the modern tradition started. Guruji came to India only because he himself had a lot of, he had severe migraine, and that migraine got cured by taking his first Vipassana course. So of course these things happen, but let us not count on them. Let us count only on mind, peace of mind and stability, equanimity practice.
Yes, Dr. Bansali. I have another participant, Mahesh Mehta ji. Mr. Mahesh Mehta ji, can you hear us? Can you ask your question?
Yes, sir. I can hear. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Acha. Bansali ji, namaskar. It is nice to see and hear you after the Jito meet in Hyderabad. I heard you there. Yes, sir. I'm into manufacturing. Basically, I practice this cosmic healing. मेरा question है, sir, how to address our subconscious mind? That is one thing. And second thing, can we program or instruct our body cells? These are my questions, sir.
So your breath changes, your thoughts come up on their own, are all the manifestations of what we call the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind may not be all that subconscious, but anyway. So you don't have to do anything in this technique. It is automatically engaged. The rational mind says, I want to do this. The subconscious mind is, disturbing the breathing, creating thoughts, anxiety, negativity, all that is a manifestation of what we call subconscious mind. And by this resolve of observing, remaining vigilant, etc., it is the rational mind. That's how you increase the capability of the rational mind to look at subconscious mind directly and not get blown away, not get flown away. So you let the subconscious manifest as thoughts, as breath, but you remain steady. So it is clearly what we call breaking the wall between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. When it comes to programming again is a manifestation of major desire, etc., etc. So if there are all wholesome things which you carry in your mind and you practice this, they automatically, get engaged in a certain manner. But Vipassana does not talk at all of programming your mind. It only talks of purifying your mind. If we do talk of metta, at the end of every session, we want to share our peace with everyone. But the first of all, conscious mind does tell, Mera Mangal Ho. And before Tera Mangal Ho, first I should be peaceful, and then I wish that everyone be peaceful. So to that extent, that Mera Mangal Ho, all good be to me, all good happen to me, that much is the only programming that Vipassana talks about. It does not talk about specific programming. कि मुझे first आ जाना चाहिए, कि मेरी बीवी मेरी बात सुननी चाहिए, इत्यादि. There is no programming like that.
जी, Dr. Bansali ji, thank you very much. We are now coming to the end of our session. I have a very small question, a very basic question. What is the time during the day we should try to meditate, and for how long? You already answered this. These times you should not meditate more than 1 to 2 or 3 times. But how long? And during what time of the day we should do this?
So when things are quieter, that is early morning is better, but you can practice Anapan anytime. You can feel peaceful. So sometimes, people feel at night, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, sometimes at 5 o'clock in the evening or 10 o'clock in the evening. When you are not too sleepy, when you are not too tired, when you're not preoccupied, that's the time that you do Anapan. Normally, we say 10 to 15 minutes. In the beginning, 10 minutes, then you can go up to 15 minutes morning, 15 minutes evening. Now people are in lockdown conditions. They are sitting at home. There are extraordinary anxiety, etc., etc. So they may practice one more time or even maybe 2 more times. So that's the norm. If those who become very serious and they want to advance in it, I would suggest to go and take a Vipassana course. I want to thank you for taking this step within yourself. Nobody is our friend more than ourselves. Our stable mind is our greatest friend. Our negative mind is our greatest enemy. We don't need an enemy bigger than your negative mind. And no friend is greater than a positive mind, a stable, quiet, peaceful mind. So I'm delighted. I want to congratulate all those who took the effort of doing this. I do hope that they will continue to practice this. Like all things, practice is required. Something which is so big, like control over mind, requires more practice. But have faith, be resolute. I'm sure that this will give you great results. Thank you for being with us.